I
Did
missed
ask
it.
you to miss? Okay, we're recording. All right. Sorry. All right, there we go. Now. All right. So this is Tammy's.
And I narrate it too. I don't know if you can hear it.
Spidery results of the doggy dignity.
Oh,
Electric chicken, bitter butter.
Wow.
Laughter which increased.
Wow.
Wow.
oh my goodness.
The doggy could tell that all the words were done.
Oh, I love that lesson.
Wow.
Bitter butterflies, chickens,
Mm.
and the electric dog who followed secretly increased laughter resulted in rooms of spidery supper. Temperature thinking of 2000, all the words were done in reverse alphabetical order.
Oh, this is great, Tammy. I think we've got a double thing going on here. So I'm gonna,
Yeah.
The electric dog.
hold on. Okay.
in reverse.
Yeah, I think we got it. It's double
Yeah,
ones.
exactly. I think that the thing that I was just trying to explain was that the book itself, I arranged all the words into reverse alphabetized.
Yes.
And that little gold thing was back in alphabetical order.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm just
Wait
going
a
to,
second. Say that one more time about the little, and
Yeah. So see how we're going through it now. The words are in reverse alphabetical order.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
Right?
That's
And
so
then I
fun.
created this little gold upside down piece. I wanted
Yep.
it to look really stylized, and that's all alphabetical order.
Wow.
So I
oh,
want-
Tammy, very wonderful job there. And,
uh,
you know, I think every time we see different people are doing different things with this, you know, you know, we can add things to our books as Tammy has done there. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how you can do that too today. But that's really what, do you feel, Tammy, that this is maybe a thing for you?
So it's funny that you should say that. Back, I think in my early 20s, like after college, I was living in New York, and I decided one year to make a different book every week.
Wow.
And it
Right.
usually and I think it lasted maybe like a month or two, but it was so much
It is
fun because I
fun.
kept thinking of different kinds of materials to use. I used tissue paper, I used fabric, I used all sorts of different things, and it would be like silly things that happened to me. And, you know, and then, so here with the book, so that's the one side of it, of the accordion, and then you flip it over, and then there's stuff that folds out.
Wow.
So I didn't really use any
oh,
pop-up,
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
but I was like, I really liked these sections. So as we're cutting things up, I'm like, well, wait a minute, these pieces are too big and I don't want to cut them up.
Yes, yes. So what size is that, Tammy?
So that's little. That's
I
like,
like it. I like it.
yeah,
I like the little.
yeah.
Wow.
I always like creating things that are like small but jewel-like and very intricate.
Kind of
I always
precious.
wanted to go small.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
so that's so great to see. And you know, we all have different takes on it. It's
Yeah.
so exciting, and can share these ideas with each other. I just want to say,
I love
though-
the handwritten. I love the handwritten part of it.
yes. Yeah. See,
I
handwriting
like
can
that a
really be good.
lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It adds something very special to it.
Agreed.
Right. And
Very
like, and I did that because I don't have a printer.
Ah, yeah.
Like, I was
necessity
with
is the
that
mother of invention, you know. So
Yeah.
you make it work, you know, and that just shows you that wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Tammy. All right, Kate, let's see. Do you which video?
See if-
Oh,
Maybe you could see if the video works. I don't know. I loaded it this morning.
all right. I think it will work.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. There we go. The butterfly did not fall into the spidery room, but instead laughed. Oh. And had her supper. Wonderful, wonderful,
Awesome.
yes. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think we can't help but see something that has to do with the words in the images, even if it's just like a little bit of a, the word laugh where there's like texture, that to me works as being, some working with a text. Wonderful, Kate. And so, yeah, let's just see that one more time. So the butterfly did not. So the butterfly, I see, flying shapes in
Mhm.
there, falling into
The
this feels like
spidery room.
falling. This, yes, the
Mhm.
spidery room, and instead laughed.
Yeah,
And
that
had
really aligns.
charming, very charming.
And the natural, like the leaf and like they really, it actually goes along with kind of the story. And it's
Mhm.
like illustrated. It's really like a book. And I
Mhm.
love how you have the words at the bottom and the illustration that you just see clearly and can just, it's not blocked by the words. It's a clear thing that
Yes.
goes along.
Yeah.
It's really simple in its simplicity, and the way you did the words is refreshing.
And I also would just wanted to go back and say, and Kate, you cropped these areas here. How did that cropping feel for you? Because that was something else we played with last week, and a really great thing to know about how to do, because sometimes the cropping can just be just a thing to pop out just the piece of your piece that's a really strong composition. Did you find that was interesting?
Yeah. On the one hand, I found it very challenging,
Hmm.
because sort of like Tammy was saying, I kind of wanted to keep the big ones in some cases.
Yeah.
I had made this little tiny book. So, but then on the other hand, it really inspired a lot of collaging.
Yes.
And I hadn't had a chance to do that
Yeah.
before. And I really got into it.
Great.
It was fun. And learning, like, you can obsess forever. And I did a lot of that. I had the time to play with the
That
obsessive
is great.
collages.
That is great.
That was fun. I think that's the only one that doesn't have collages.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And that was funny because I didn't really have that and have her supper until I started looking at the words with the book. And then I'm like, oh my God, that's a leaf. That's what the butterflies eat. I have to add that, So that was the happy coincidence there. Is I had fun with that.
Nobody has used the word chicken soup yet, so I'm curious.
Tammy did.
Tammy
She
did.
just-
Okay. Yeah.
She broke it up a little bit, but
Just chicken.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, great, Kate.
Very
Thank you
nice.
so much. Really, really lovely to see all of these. And yeah, well, we're going to talk about how you can flatten that book out, because the next part, oh, here you did the whole thing out like that.
Well, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to video it. So I had done that first.
Yeah, good.
I had to bring in my husband, the video producer.
Oh, yeah, right, of course.
Oh, nice.
Co-credit.
Oh.
Yeah, we all have to have our, that's right, the special,
He'll be on the acknowledgements page.
Exactly.
Special
Exactly.
thing.
Yes, a special
love it.
thanks too.
All right, Katie, we have yours here.
Yes, I want to, before you play it, I'd like to tell the story of it
Oh,
first,
sure.
just for a second.
Okay, yeah.
So I did it, the big one, when you said, do it big. And I said, okay. And I didn't, I had these sequences, these series of all these different ones of the prints that I had. And there were a few that I kind of really liked and I didn't really want to dive in. So I took a bunch that I had that, just to play with, and not, so I didn't have to be perfect. It was great.
Good.
So
Yeah.
I love the cropping part. That was really a
Yeah.
great process of seeing in something that's totally random what would look good. And so I just cut a bunch of them. And then I spent a little, what one do I want each page on, and how does it flow, and what connects to one, but nothing where there was nothing precious to me about it.
Yeah.
So I got those down and I glued them down. And then I read the thing about, how to get the poetry and stuff.
Yeah.
And I saw the list of words and I thought, my pictures are so random.
Uh-huh.
And I thought this type of process to make sense out of all those words is it's a very linear way of thinking that is hard for this brain to do,
Mhm.
right? So I thought this has to be like really random, so I don't need it to make sense, just like I didn't need the photos to make sense. And you know what came into my mind? The Jabberwocky.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Totally nonsensical. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to make sense.
yeah.
I printed out the words and cut them all up and just actually really quickly put together so that I can open it up and I can read it to you but it's in the, I just hope that maybe the rhythm of it people would understand it.
Yeah.
Or hear it in the rhythm. So I read it. So you can press the button and I put the title on the top is Gibber Wonky.
Okay,
It's all gibberish and it's kind of wonky.
all right, excellent.
And the spidery dog. For supper and.
Twas supper and the spidery dog.
Wait, hold on. You know what? I think I have a double, and I also want to make sure that the sound is working here. So hang on, everybody.
You can turn the sound down on it and I can
Am I
read it.
thinking-
Yeah, that's
the
probably
chicken
better.
soup?
Let's do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
thousands.
You start at the beginning again.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Jibberwonky. 'Twas supper and the spidery dog did bitter and butterfly round the room. All laughter did increase my dignity, and my thinking became electric.
I love that.
Beware the chicken soup, oh thousands. Yeah.
I
And on the
love
back,
that one.
I just took some of the things that were left over from printing out the words,
Yeah.
and I just made a quick kind of stencil-y thing, and then I put down all the words on the back.
It's great.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
I'd love to see that again if
Sure.
possible.
Yeah, let's do it again.
It's really fun.
'Twas Jabberwocky, 'twas supper and the spidery dog did bitter and butterfly round the room. All laughter did increase my dignity, and my thinking became electric. Beware the chicken soup, oh thousands.
Oh, I love that last page.
Picture right there.
Definitely. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Beware the chicken soup.
Yes.
I want a spoonful.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like, and that's kind of like word soup on the back,
It
right?
is.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Floating around in the broth, the words like floating around in the broth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had so much fun with this and I really didn't have to do anything. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? I didn't have to tax my brain. I
Yes.
had my husband, you had said, oh, maybe your husband, maybe your maid or something like that could help out. He
Yeah.
couldn't do it. He just couldn't think like I think. And I kept explaining to him, and he is a writer and an editor. And I thought, oh, this is something really
How
amazing with it.
interesting.
He could
Yeah.
not. And I thought, this is great. I thought he'd come up with something even better, but he,
And the spidery dog.
No, it's a different
Did
kind of
bitter
skill.
the butterfly. I love that
Yeah.
first part too.
Yeah.
And see this
All-
part,
that's
all
a-
laughter, I see the docs and that
Yeah.
sounds like laughter to
Yeah.
me. And then your thinking became electric, the yellow on the black.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my
Very
favorite
appropriate
page.
Too. So that's what I'm saying is like, this exercise, is so good for many different, things. It's not just it, as you can see, you can use this with all kinds of possibilities. Great, Katie, thank you so much. And let's see, Mary Ellen, we have one for you.
Really fun.
All right, so let's just see what this looks like here. So,
Did not put words on because my printer is not
no worries.
oh,
No
working.
worries.
And I chose a theme of using the fishing twine
Oh, yeah.
and
Mm.
elastics.
Oh, beautiful.
I mean,
There's
these can
something
just be,
beautifully ethereal and cosmic about this. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is, but that's the feeling I get from looking at it. And it
Yeah.
doesn't need words. It doesn't
No,
need words.
these don't need words, exactly, they
No.
don't need words. But, you know, just as an exercise to play with, it's, you know, it's also a really
Yeah.
great one just to kind of see what you can
Uh-huh.
do.
And the
Um,
blue really flows through everything too. Even
Yeah.
this
Mm.
goldy one has
Yeah.
a little of it, you know,
mhm.
you can see the color flowing and the yellow in that one.
So you just cropped this as is, you didn't add to it?
There's nothing, I just crop them as they is. There's no collage in it at
Oh.
all.
Wow, great, great. I love the cropping job, you
Mm,
know? And the circles, the connecting of the circles, the motion in it.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, really
Good.
nice, Mary Ellen. Very, you know, yeah. And so, you know, the other thing could happen, which is that, you know, you see all these images together and it suggests, you know, something to you
Mhm.
for words or whatever that you might want to add to it, you know, and that's certainly another possibility. Absolutely to, you know, do instead of the words.
It
I-
has like calm, there's a real calmness through it, and yet
Yeah.
there's a real energy to each piece. And I find that kind of fun.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, it's
I've fallen in love with using the fishing twine. It's
Oh,
fabulous.
I have to try that.
Hal, it's gorgeous.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also
Yeah.
the circular, you have the circular theme, you know, through the whole
Yeah.
thing too. So
Yeah.
that's also a way to make these things make sense, you know, just kind of keep
Yeah.
your imagery, you know, kind
this
of in the
one,
same.
this one, if you go back, oh, no, you can't because it's a recording.
Well, I am kind of going backwards like this.
Yeah, no, the one that had the different colors and you could see them, how they were layered on top and there was like red and gold. Wow, it was so mysterious. I just,
This one here.
this one
That
here on the
one,
left,
yeah.
Yeah.
that one there, and what the underneath coming through and the gold and the white and the
Yeah.
Yeah.
tulle.
But I also use stencils on that one.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
the stuff that's blue underneath
Yeah,
or yellow, there's probably some yellow.
Yeah.
there's yellow, and so the blue is part of a stencil and
Yeah.
the red is part of a stencil.
Did you go from dark to light on this or
Who
light,
knows?
light to?
No idea.
I know, it's hard to
Anyways,
read.
it's great. Anyways, you don't need to explain it. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
All
I
right. Well,
could-
great.
I could
Mary
get
Ellen.
lost in that one for a while.
Yeah. Well, you can go to this Padlets anytime you want to and go see them
Hey,
again.
how do we go to that Padlet? Can I connect can I make this part of my Padlet or do I have to go to this Padlet?
You have to
see-
go to this Padlet.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I can't incorporate it into my Padlet.
No.
So I should be adding my stuff to my Padlet, even though I add it to yours if I want to keep it as a record.
Well, yeah, but I don't usually dump these. You know, I've been holding on to all of these different, you know,
Okay.
class Padlets. But yeah, but you could. I think there's a way to download it. I think you can download it somewhere and then put it on yours. Anyway, yeah, check it out and see. I think so because up here, I think it says,
Check it out.
yeah, copy post. I don't know. You'll have to play with it, but I think
Yeah.
it's possible.
Oh,
to
I
do
see.
that.
Oh, each individual one, each individual
Yeah.
piece.
See up
Okay,
here,
got it.
you have
Got
the
it.
little buttons. Yeah, you can try.
Thank
Oh,
you.
here's downloading right here.
Where?
Yeah,
Oh,
Click on
underneath.
download and it will
Okay.
come out and you can hold on
Put
to
it
it. that
wherever
way.
I want it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, anybody else? Let's see. We have a couple people who are, I know that Nancy has been working hard on her pieces kind of separately, which is fine. Anybody else? Jay?
Ellen?
Ellen?
It sounds like you all had so much fun, but
Uh-oh.
I couldn't do the book because I've been trying to use the pieces that I'm creating with the printing process to make larger collages.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I'm having problems, I must say.
Uh-oh.
And I have this problem with everything being precious.
Ah,
Yeah.
And I've got to move beyond that. It's really hanging me up. I have to loosen up. It's crazy,
yeah.
Can I say something to that I've
Yeah.
learned in this
Yeah.
class? is just keep doing a lot more printings. It just keep doing them. Then you have a lot to work with. And the ones that, yeah, I have some here. Yeah, I don't want to cut them up. I'm sorry. I like them as they are. I don't know. But I thought to myself, I still don't want to make stuff precious. So if I just keep creating more stuff and having fun, I'll have a bigger pool of stuff to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can I say that every week I feel like I sort through everything, and the stuff that I was like, oh my God, these are so precious. I can't
Yeah.
I never
I'll
touch
put-
them. I'll go
That-
to them again and I'm like, wait, what was I talking about? Like,
Yeah.
I love, and then like stuff I'm ready to cut up. I'm like, this is my best work. What am I doing? Changes
Yes.
everything. But
Oh,
yeah.
it changes every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, what becomes precious changes every week, right?
Exactly. I concur with all
Yeah.
of these folks. Exactly, Ellen. Just keep making lots.
And
Yeah.
the thing that I'm really working on with my printing is trying to get colors more vibrant. Like I
Yeah.
want saturated, and sometimes I find that they're not. And
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't know if you have any suggestions.
I'm going to guess that it has to do with the amount of paint you're using.
Oh, okay.
You know, yeah, I think you just have to play with putting, paint on. Maybe it's too much, maybe it's not enough, but just keep playing with that and you will.
Okay.
You will
Okay.
find it because it's, yeah, the golden paints have incredible pigment. They
Okay.
really should be super saturated. So, yeah, I mean, like this one here, that's a
Yeah.
really pretty saturated color there.
Yeah.
So I think you will definitely get there. Yeah, and let's work one-on-one today when we break out, and let me help you if I can. Okay,
Okay.
I'm happy to help you.
I think
Absolutely.
I think that's really important because it seems to me from doing this is when I print, like the first printing is when I get those real,
Yeah.
I get the most solid paint on the first piece of paper.
Yeah.
And the other ones become ghosts and they become softer. So if you want that solid, right, I go for the first.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's right. Yeah. All right. Well, great, everybody. Lovely to see everyone's work. Very exciting. So, what I had in mind to do today, well, I have, it's funny, there's a lot. I did want to show you one of the books that I have done. I also have instructions for making covers, and it sounds to me like you guys might really enjoy doing that. So I'm happy to walk through that with you, and I have a video all about that. We can really break it down and have you work with me. What you'll need though, and I'm so sorry, I had forgotten to send this out, but you just, everybody have access to some kind of, need a piece of cardboard or mat board, or even, the cardboard on the back of your print of your paper pad, you could use that. But does everybody have access to something like that today?
I think so. How thick would you
Doesn't
want?
have to be thick. It just,
Is poster board okay?
it's
That's what
okay.
I use, but you think thicker is better than poster
Well,
board?
because what happens is, like this is fairly thin board, but that I've used on this one. This is
Yeah.
very thin, but
Yeah.
but you don't want it to be
Doesn't
floppy.
bend,
Like if it's just like it's stiff, should be fine. Something
I
like
use-
stiff.
I use poster board
Poster board's
on
good, yeah.
and it's pretty.
Yeah, does everybody have something like this that they can access
Yep.
to easily? Okay, so what we'll do is before we start it, we'll take a little break and I'll have you guys go, maybe search for something that you can use. And again, you can just go through the motions or even watch and see this and then do it, this week when you have what you actually really need. But so there's that. But what I wanted to show you is a book that I made using monotype, and not the jelly plate monotype, but a kind of monotype. But it turned out to be a pop-up book, which is another way that you guys can elaborate on yours. And some of you already have done that, but it might be a way to, you may not be really done with your book all in total, and that's totally fine. And actually you can still work on these even if you've got the cover on the books, because it's just paper. And you saw how easy it is to just, make another couple of pages and slide them in just by doing what you did before, which is to glue the backs. So that's all possible. But I did want to kind of talk a bit more about the great thing about knowing how to make these books. I mean, there comes a time when you start to do, you really get sort of really into making prints or, your artwork in general. And then there's like, okay, what do I do with these things? And putting these things in, thinking about putting them in, Tammy, this is relating to this. I was smiling a lot. That's great. Putting these into a book format is, as you can see, very satisfying. It's a way to keep them all together, for one thing. And it becomes kind of a record of this time in your life. It becomes something a little bit more special than just a kind of a print on its own. You look at them differently than if it was on a wall, because it's in your hand, and it's something like becomes a keepsake, becomes something that you can give to people. It really is a way that you can make something more of this whole experience of art making. So I just, think that if you like this idea, it's certainly something that you can play with in so many different ways. So what I want to do today is to share with you, oh, this is so funny. I see now I had a dream about beetles last night. Oh my God, I had a dream about a very large beetle. It's because I think I knew I was going to show you this book.
That's so funny.
It is very weird. Anyway,
Wow.
this is a book that I made, I'm going to say maybe 20 years ago. God, when I first was really getting into monoprinting, and I had learned monoprinting using a press, but it doesn't matter. So this was, my attempt to kind of put all these things together. So yeah, 1993, it was 20 years ago, God, called Scarab. So this is a book, and it's made exactly the same way yours were. Yours are in that accordion format. And I made a cover for it just the way you're going to be doing. But what I did do is I spent, quite a while working on it. So, and I used a different way of making my letters, in that I made stencils for the letters. So this word was cut out, out of a piece of paper, and then I sort of drew paint across it to make the word scarab. So I had just decided to make the theme here was scarabs. And what I want you to pay particular attention to is the different ways that I try to slow the viewer down. So this is all about slowing you down when you're looking at a book. Like, it's so easy to, just kind of thumb through these really quickly, but you may want to say, hey, wait a minute, viewer, I demand your attention. I want you to slow down and look at that. So this is one thing that I did. And here is a very thin piece of like rice paper that I actually sewed through to give the lines, right? And so that's how I did that. I just sewed it.
By hand?
Yeah, yep, just sewed by hand. Yeah.
What's the overlay?
It's a very light piece of like rice paper or something. I don't even know, what it is now. It's been so long, but there's that. And then what I did was, you all probably familiar with the pop-up books that are out there. They're so fun. I love pop-up books. So I decided to add some of that possibility to my book. So here's the next page. And this is one that also opens up this way. And it says turn page right up here. It has a little tab at the top in case you didn't know that you should turn the page. You could turn the page. And here I have another little pop-up area that says lift. And then my little beetle down here, which just says pool. So that
He
was
jumps around.
really fun, yeah. So there's that.
Alive.
I love pop-up books.
Yes, they're so much fun. Exactly. And then turning the page, there's another just plain one. And then this one has several pieces to it too. So there's lift. So I cut out a little window.
Oh, fun.
So, do you see how I did that? You can do that too. All this is another piece of paper. I'm going to try to take this off and see if I can show you without making you seasick. But do you see how that's in there? So there's a fold here. There's a fold in this where these two come together, and there are tabs on this piece of paper. But I have a video actually on how to do that. So I'll
Oh,
show
could
that
you
to
send
later.
that? Could
Yeah,
you
I'll show you. Yep, I'll show you all that.
So
Yeah.
But is that two pieces that separate, that you can put your finger through the middle of it? Or is that just one piece of paper? That piece, right, that's in your hand?
This is two pieces of paper. So it was attached in the back.
Okay,
So yeah, so see these little tabs here? That's how I did it. That's how I attached this other piece. But anyway, there are all sorts of ways, but just to say that you can make windows. You can then open this up, and then I have another set, and then this one here.
illustration on each page individually. It's not like what we're doing. You illustrated each one on the book, on the page.
Um,
I'm just,
I mean, if you're asking the process, it was just kind of, it grew, I didn't set out to do this. I had a lot of prints that happened to have to do with beetles, and I just wanted to do something different with it. So a lot of these happened after the printmaking process, like this I did, so anyway, another little pop-up thing where you can do this too. The way these are attached, it's not rocket science. It's just simply gluing it on the back, and finding a way to do this. But I put this forward as just something that can be so engaging. The process itself is so much fun. So here's one, that you can just roll up.
wow.
This is fabric, and you can print on fabric. Yes, you can. Yes, you
Yeah.
can. And then the final page here, which is like the skittering of the beetles. And then this final one here, which is a big cutout that says pool. So
Oh. Cool.
it's all very low tech, but very satisfying, to do. And then this is the last page here. So
Were you listening to a lot of like John, Paul, George, and Ringo?
no, but I am a fan. I am a fan, but yeah, that.
Or the little hungry caterpillar or something like that.
I'm definitely inspired by
Front
that. And just to, one more thing really quickly, because, what's really fun to do is go to, one of these art bookstores and look at, the pop-up books that are for sale. I actually had to buy this because I loved it so much, but look at this. This is called 16 Black Spots. And, it is just so much fun.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, you can go crazy with this. I'm just in such awe, but I want to, as I look at these, I try to figure out, well, how do they do that?
Oh, it's
And I think it's all, the secrets are, this is all, it is bound, so you can't see the back of it, but the secret happens between the pages for sure, how these are all stuck together. But yeah, if you know my work, you know why I love this so much.
It is. It's like your work. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it is. And
Wow.
then, these all have like separate pages. So, like I say, it's just like
Oh, wow.
an unending, wonderful, fun kind of little thing to do that just lends itself to so much. These are pretty clever too. These ones where you pop out and change them.
Oh, my. Yeah.
But again, I think it's not so hard once you kind of look at it and sort of figure out how it's done.
Right.
But it is really.
Oh.
So I have to show you the rest of this page,
Fun.
really
Oh.
quickly.
Oh,
Dr.
wow.
Seuss, You know?
And I show this book to my grandkids. They were pretty nonplussed. It's funny.
I
I
was-
was, they liked it, but I think for kids, they're like, everything is weird. So this is weird and I like it, and that's weird and I like it too. So, but for us, we look at it and just go, oh my God, it's really, really a treasure. So,
Yay.
but anyway, so that's just a little bit of how I've had fun playing with the pop-up, and that you can do that too if you want to kind of keep going with your book. And of course, the idea of putting transparent sheets of plastic, on some of them so you can see through and draw on those, or sewing, or any of the things that, maybe hadn't thought about, in bringing it into this kind of a process is fair game,
Wow,
so.
that's such a great idea. Thank you.
Sure. So here's what I'm thinking. It is almost noon. I understand that everybody would like to see how to add the covers. Is that correct? Should we
Mhm.
do that in class? Nancy and Ellen, will that be okay?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, that's fine.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So why don't I do that now then? Let's take a
So
break.
is that all there's going to be to the class? Is that for the rest of the class? And you're going
Well,
to do?
it depends. I don't know. I did want to, I have another kind of a printing technique that might be fun to learn as well. So
Yes.
hard
Yes.
to know, exactly
So much about
what
that
might be.
I
different.
vote for printing. I mean, I love, learning the printing, but whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
If we
Can
can-
you show us how to do the covers and then we can do it on our own over the
Well,
week?
absolutely. I mean, that's definitely a possibility. And I can easily just send you all the video. And you can stop the video and do the process and
Yeah,
and do it
that's a
with
good
me in
idea.
video. And then
Like
we don't have to
like
take
that.
time out from the class to do it.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? I think so. Okay,
Yeah.
let's do that then, because I've got it all ready to go. And it is really, just stop the video, do like I did last week with you, slow it down, and you can follow it. Again, it's not that it's hard. And just to show you, what you're talking about doing, it's simply adding, basically taking a piece of cardboard and covering it. And, for your cover, you can use a blank sheet of paper and then figure out what to do with it. Or you can take one of your prints and use that, or to even take fabric. It's really easy to do that. And you may want to just put another piece of paper at the front, if you don't want your book to start right away on the front cover, although it can, you can do that. So that's what you can do. And then I will also send a video about how to add pages in there. And that's another video I have. So, all right, so let's do that then. Great. So I thought that I would show you another kind of a printmaking process that we haven't talked about yet, which is that thing about making a matrix, which is some sort of a permanent printing plate that can be used, to both do stamp printing on your prints, which is, stamp printing is literally stamping onto paper. It doesn't involve the jelly, or using this as something to get designs into your jelly. So let me talk to you about both, several of these different possibilities. So, and, the fact that there are also all kinds of items that are around your house that really do make wonderful printing textures that we haven't really explored yet. So we all have this styrofoam all over the place, and you can't get rid of this stuff. I have a huge, it's driving me crazy. I have a huge amount that I have to get to the recycle center at some point. But meanwhile, the styrofoam has, first of all, this really interesting texture. Some of it has, at least, these little sort of small balls of styrofoam in there, which are great to ink up and press directly onto your jelly. And also some of them have already ridges in them. So let me just take a second to get a jelly plate up on my board here. Let's see, give me maybe just like 3 minutes to get myself set up. All right, and let's come back in just a couple of minutes, and then I'd be ready to show you some of these
For us to get
processes.
ready for this, yeah, Adria,
Sorry?
is there anything that we can do to get ready for
I
what?
mean, no, you can you'll be printing for sure.
Okay.
But just for now, you just
Okay.
take a second
Yep,
and
sounds
watch
great.
me. Yeah, so let me just get my stuff ready. Okay, I think I'm ready now. I just wanted to collect some of the stuff that I had and also to be able to show you. And there's also just really quickly, Laura. Okay, all right. So what I want to show you first is, you know, what something like this can do for you. So again, this is called a matrix, and it just and it's a printmaking term that you'll find, you know, used. People use it. You know, if you you know, ever do take a different kind of printmaking class, it's again, it's just something that stays because these things are glued down. It's like you can always have it. And one thing that's great about having different matrices already made and put together is that in the process of printing, you just can kind of go and bring in your different, you know, pieces of cardboard that are already created. I think maybe I should wait until people come back. Let's see, we're still waiting for Katie and Nancy. Kate.
I'm here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to say, so again, the matrix is something that is kind of a permanent thing. It's like having stencils right next to you as you print.
Mm.
You know, it's like something that you don't have to invent the wheel constantly. You've got something that you can use already ready to go. And
So,
that
I'm sorry, how are you defining the word matrix? Is it like
it's a
like a
kind of
stamp?
like a more permanent plate. I use that word like,
Okay, a
you know,
plate.
it's like
Yeah.
a plate that has a fixed set of design elements on it already. Like it's just there.
And a stamp is something smaller,
Well, you can use your matrix as a stamp,
right?
but yes, a stamp is a matrix. It's a
Okay,
little
okay.
bit-
A
yeah.
stamp is a matrix. Thank you. Thank you.
Who knew? Anyway, so yeah, so here's a matrix that I made out of a piece of foam core board, but you know, you may not have that around. It's, you know, whatever. I have all kinds of stuff, but you can make it out of a piece of corrugated cardboard or just any kind of cardboard, really. You know, they're just things, even a cereal box. So it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be super heavy. But if you're going to glue things onto it, you know, you don't want it to be too floppy. Like ostensibly you could have a piece of paper as a matrix, but it's floppy. And if you want to use it over and over again, it's better to make it on something that's going to, you know, become longer lasting. So, you know, simply what you might want to do with this piece of cardboard, you know, is to literally just cut out. Get this ready to go here for it. Doesn't have to be a certain shape or a certain size. You know, if it could be the whole size of your jelly plate if you wanted to, but it doesn't really have to be because, you know, you can move it around and print it where you need it to print. It's not like you're going to necessarily, you know, use it on a whole sheet of paper. So, you know, for this matrix, what you can do is cut out, you know, bunches of shapes, you know, very simply like this, that, you know, sort of interest you, and then just glue them down, you know, to your piece of cardboard so that it stays there. And when you print this, you don't need to wash it off, because what will happen is certainly as you get yeah, first of all, the paint will dry, you know, like if you print it a session, you put it away and you bring it out in a couple of days, it should be dry. It shouldn't pick up more paint. And the paint, because it's acrylic, starts to protect the surface, you know, and it makes it kind of, you know, gives it a little bit of a plastic coating, if you will. So, you know, that's a very simple matrix that you'll always have to go to. So I'm going to just show you this one that I already made. See, this one has color on it. It doesn't matter because it's dry, you know. So let's put this on. And, you know, as I'm doing this, this is for Ellen, just to, you know, see if by doing this for you, this helps to answer some of the questions about, you know, how much paint to use. I am going to try to get a good roll up. See, this is not quite enough. I mean, this is, I could see using a little bit more in here.
What color is that, Adria?
This is a phthalo blue, phthalo green, excuse me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
it's really pretty. Yeah. And this is, you know, at this point in the class, you know, you may wish you had more color, which is fine.
Yeah.
You know, and you can go buy some. There's nothing wrong with that.
I know, I love how you're saying at this point in the class, because
Yeah.
every week, let me tell you, I've been buying like a color.
Oh, well, yeah, I know. I mean, it's
It's good. It's addictive. It's fun. I'll use it all. It's great.
yes, you will use it. It's, you know, and right, it's just, that's what happens, you know, when you start doing this, you do start to see, oh, wouldn't it be great to have a yummy color? And of course, my colors that I had suggested you get, you know, will only take you so far. Some of you who have taken my color class, you know that the palette you start with is still super important for, you know, making colors that you have in mind. You know, just yellow, blue, and green, red will only take you so far. You really kind of need 2 of each color. So, but that's another time. All right, so one of the things that you can do, of course, is to take your matrix and press it in, you know, to the surface of this board and pick it up. And of course, now you have paint on this, and you can, of course, print this separately on something else, or you can just go ahead and, you know, print this. And of course, you could even do another. But, you know, this is kind of a nice thing to have. Like I said, it's just like another help for you, another thing to go to instead of having to reinvent the wheel every single time you sit down to do it. So I'll put this on the back here. And let's see, Ellen, if you think this color is what you're looking for in terms of the darkness of it. So there you know, you have this kind of interesting bunch of shapes that, you know, the other thing that you can do with these shapes that you have a matrix, it enables you to make a set of prints that have a common element to them over and over again. So, you know, you can do diptychs or triptychs kind of on purpose that will have this thread running through them constantly, you know, the same bunch of elements. And then of course we can take these same things, we could ink these up separately, maybe in a different color. Let's try, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe black on this.
Adria, can I ask what I think might be a stupid question?
No stupid questions. Yeah.
How come the first print you did doesn't have more white? I kind of expected.
Oh, well, because I only pressed it, you know, I only pressed in and took it up.
Oh, I see.
Right?
Right.
I'm not covering anything.
So I guess if you wanted more white, you could leave it down, put the paper over it and press hard or something like that?
No, because see, it's all attached, Kate, remember?
Yeah.
You'll only get, yeah, like if I did that, the thing is, because this is a little bit of a dimension, you know, you wouldn't necessarily do a print like this. Like, you know, it's too high, really. I mean, you could, but yeah, no, this, you know, well, actually, now that I printed it, you know, your ghost print will have a whole lot more white on it because let's just do this one on this side here. Your ghost print will have more taken up. See that, because so much has already come off.
Right.
That makes sense? Yeah, it's just, yeah. Yeah, so this doesn't take the paint off. It's simply, it's like doing making a ghost, first. Right?
Yes.
And then,
Thank
right, and then for here to take your matrix, and then you can take a paintbrush and maybe paint on or roll on, depends with whatever you want to do, really, doesn't really matter. But to get a different color and still use this matrix, it's the same thing as having a stencil that you might use over and over again. It's like a shape, or a bunch of shapes, or a bunch of, a common image that you can just use over and over again. So I've got this now with paint on it, and I can then, press this down, and I'm using here as a stamp. And actually using the jelly underneath my print gives a little bit more of a padding, so that my connection with the print might be a little bit stronger, than you might normally get if you were just kind of pressed directly onto like a table. You know what I mean? It's got a So that's something that you can do with the matrix that enables you to get sort of different kinds of marks. If you haven't yet tried peeling back, your corrugated cardboard, that's another, wonderful place to find.
So Adria,
Yeah.
I have these random little chunks of cardboard that my dog created.
Oh, yeah.
He does art with me in the studio.
Collaboration.
Yes, those might be fun to glue
Yes.
down.
Absolutely, those would be fun. And you could just, and so these can, of course, be put onto a matrix if you want to, or, you can use them as, interesting things to then put paint on. I'm just brushing this on because I'm lazy, but, you can roll this on too. But yeah,
You're
I am.
creative.
I'm creative, I'm
Yes.
lazy, slash lazy.
It's a technique. Laziness is a technique.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So let's just see here. Printing this and pulling it up, this gives you interesting line, along with the use of embroidery thread or other, or the trace monotype, which we learned in the other day. This gives you another way to put line down onto your
Like
your
that.
piece,
Oh, that's cool.
and the good old days when they used to have corrugated cardboard around light bulbs was a wonderful source of this kind of kind of linear thing. And then what was I going to say here?
And Adria, can you lift up that paper and show us the opposite side? Because I know there's
sure.
barely a ghost print there.
Well, yeah, but it's really,
It probably didn't come out much, but yeah, there's a little green on it though.
There's a little green. Yeah, it didn't come out all that much, but yeah, so just a few other kind of ideas to think about as you are moving forward. And then, yes, I did want to show you finally the as another, going into recycle box is a great source. I'm just looking for my piece of styrofoam that I had here. I do have it on my table. Where is it? Oh. Just have it. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, yes. And so, this is such an interesting thing to kind of play with too, where I may want to put some paint down. I'm just going to use my jelly as a place to kind of get some paint already inked up here. And then, to apply this directly to the styrofoam, you can see how, that might be really interesting. Okay. These little sort of dots that come out. So, you can do this, you can put paint directly onto the styrofoam and then place it directly onto a jelly. And, pick up that way, or you can really just, press some of these edges of the styrofoam directly into an already painted place. It's hard because this isn't super flat, but it depends on what kind of styrofoam you find. Like this kind that has a little sort of balls of styrofoam in it, is certainly a different kind of a styrofoam. But meat trays, of course, what you can do with meat tray is to, draw directly into it. And I'm pretending that this is meat tray or vegetable tray, so you can draw into that and, also get something like this, and that it has to have enough paint on it. Of course, this is getting a little bit light.
So
But
you put that on the jelly plate though?
you could put that on the jelly plate, or you can print directly onto your piece of paper,
And when
that's
you
gonna
put
be-
it on the jelly plate, then you put press a piece of paper on.
Yeah, you could do all of those things. Let me see, I'm just gonna get this on my hands here, but, to press it, it just gives you an idea of some of the many, 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 varieties of things that you can use to get interesting texture. There was a student I had who did a whole series of prints using styrofoam, just like this. She just found it, like in, the recycle bin or whatever, a big chunk that was nice and flat and had all these little holes in it. But that's just a really interesting textural element that you could have fun playing with. So anyway, what I thought, we might do for the rest of this class is to play, making a matrix, like, get a piece of cardboard, glue some things to it that are all the same level. I mean, that's pretty important. So whatever you glue, just make sure that it's like the same material so that, when you're pressing it or when you're printing with it, it's really going to show on the paper. And find things around your house that might be interesting to do that with. If you have styrofoam, that's great. If you don't worry about it. But corrugated cardboard, as I said, is a really interesting, wonderful thing to use as texture too. So let's just go ahead and make some more prints, play with that. And I'm here to answer some questions, and we'll stop in maybe like a half an hour and see what we've got. And that'll be it. Questions?
I have a question that's
Yeah.
Separate from this.
Sure.
If I have a piece that I have painted with acrylic.
Yeah.
And I want to print on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does it take on that? Because that's, I think I'm having a problem with it really taking well. Should it be fine?
It should be fine. It should be fine. Can you show me, Ellen, one of the things that?
Okay, I'll have to find something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
Take
well,
your time.
okay, so this is one thing.
I just want to.
Can you see it?
I'm going to pin you so I can see you bigger. Yeah, I just want to get you bigger here. All right. Yes, I do see that. Yeah.
Okay, so it was yellowish in the beginning.
Okay. Yeah,
It-
and you printed blue on top of it?
Yeah. So, but I did this many times to get it to stick. No, I shouldn't have to.
No, you shouldn't.
Okay.
Because it's
okay.
really like printing on a dried, thing.
Okay.
It shouldn't.
Do
Okay.
some types of paper take better than other types?
I would say, yeah, what kind of, so did you have a real glossy surface with the paint? Was that really glossy, or was it just kind of regular?
Well, I don't usually use glossy,
Yeah, no,
but
no. I'm gonna say that you just maybe need more paint, Ellen. That's very
Okay.
weird. Yeah, you should
Okay.
get a good strong color on it.
okay.
Yeah, show me, see if you can, what you can find. And today we'll work on it. You know, I really want to help you work through this because that shouldn't happen.
All right, well,
And-
I mean,
And Ellen, what kind of
Yeah.
paper did you start with?
well, this was on a piece of paper that I had acrylic, I had painted.
Okay.
This was
But it was-
this was the latest I did.
That's
Okay.
good.
So that's pretty saturated.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So because I was really trying to get it very saturated, but I did this multiple times and moved it around my jelly plate.
Yeah. Well, you know, it may be that for what you're looking for,
Yeah,
that's a really good solution.
yeah,
You
okay,
know?
yeah, okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. You know, just in general to everybody, it's interesting. I mean, I think that depending on what we each are looking for from our work, and you may not be able to answer this right now, or you may not even know, but I know that Ellen's been working with, you know, collage for a while and perhaps having in mind a kind of, you know, color saturation that she's used to seeing. You know, might need to kind of manipulate the process to get what you need from it. And that's fine. Like, that's what artists do all the time. You know, they find their own recipes for doing X, Y, Z. It's just like,
I was gonna say that I'm using this as an excuse to dig through all of my different kinds of art paper. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to print on like the brown packing paper, right? Paper bags and like the fancy art paper that I have and like the cheap like printer paper or like,
exactly.
such a wide variety.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
always
you can-
surprised. Yeah.
They all give you different
Yeah.
kinds of looks, you know, and they're good. Some are good for some applications and not for others. Yeah, it really isn't, you know, yeah. I mean, for the straight on printmaking that, you know, you may be signed up for doing in this class, you know, it works. This kind of, you know, this is fine, you know, and then we do ghosts and all that stuff. But for specialized kinds of approaches, you may need to like double print, or, you know, you may need to figure out how to get what you want.
Yeah, but I was also going to say it also gives me validation for all
Yeah.
of the different kinds of art papers I've been
Oh
collecting.
yeah, exactly. No, it's
Sure.
right. It's all a little bit different. Exactly. And so as you print today, you may come up with some ideas to add to your book, or, you know, a piece that would be just great for, you know, a pop-up part. You know, maybe thinking about that too.
Well, I love the printing process because I feel like it's a great starting point. For
Yeah.
me. I love that. And then I can play with it with acrylics if I want, cutting it up. I
Right.
mean, I love it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what is, I love it too, for the starting point too. I mean, some people
Yeah.
start paintings with a printmaking, with doing a jelly right onto a canvas or right onto a cradled board. You know, it works great because you're using acrylic, because you're using a paint, it really does lend itself perfectly to that way of starting. Yep.
Adria?
Yeah.
One thing I was wondering about, I saw that exhibit at the MFA of the artist from Roxbury who does those kind of layered books. And
Mhm.
it looks like she has done some printing, and maybe it's just painting. But anyway, triggered this idea about photos,
Yeah.
kind of printing over photos.
Yeah.
I guess that's how you would do it. Have you done any of that? Any thoughts or comments about that?
Yeah, yes, you can certainly. You can certainly print on photos. Yeah, I mean, over the years, I don't think I've done it per se in my work, but I've you know,
Yeah.
done it in class to show people that yeah. You know, in fact, there's a student that I've had who starts by she prints on top of magazine covers.
Oh,
She
that's
prints
interesting.
jelly plate printing right on magazine covers. And it's just a really interesting thing because some of it gets covered and some of it shows through,
Right.
you know, and so it gives her something to start with, colors and shapes and maybe even text to start
Yeah.
with. So that's a really fun thing to do too, or even magazine pages with text and everything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
newspaper or
Newspaper,
that kind of.
magazine pages, exactly.
Mm.
Yeah.
All those New Yorkers that you have like been
That's
collecting
a
for
great
years and
thing.
years that you don't want to
Yeah.
throw out.
Yep,
Yeah, perfect.
But how would you print on a photograph? I mean, because how could it take?
Oh, it would stick. The
It would?
acrylic would stick to, oh yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
If it was gloss, I mean, you could print it out, you could print something, a photo out on certain paper. I was thinking that
Yeah.
might be necessary, but you're thinking, no, you could just, you
could
could do
print on
your
it,
print
yeah.
right on
Yeah.
a photo.
But you're right. I mean, it would be efficacious to print it out because you may
Yeah.
be not wanting to ruin some kind of old photograph.
Well, there's that,
But it's
yeah.
possible. But yeah, and the other
Yeah.
thing too is about printing is that you can print in different sizes. There's also a way, which I will show you next week, on how to actually transfer a photograph.
Yeah.
Oh,
With monoprinting. Yeah. It has to be a very high contrast.
Yeah, image.
Has to be a high contrast image. But yes, I think maybe what I'll do is I'll give everybody directions on how to get ready for that. But if you have like a high contrast photograph, you can print it out in black and white.
but I was thinking of
You
white.
can
like
do that. And also it's actually, I've been able to do it very well by using something from a photograph, because it's something about the paper. But anyway, I can show you that. That's kind of fun too. Yeah. Oh, there's so much to do yet. So this is our we have 3 more classes after today. So we're kind of, getting to the place where we can experiment with a lot of the things we know how to do. And, the things that I'm teaching you now are kind of icing on the cake. They're sort of interesting, variations on this theme of, what to print on, how to print it, how to get certain effects that you might, have fun doing. And then, of course, adding other colors and playing with colors that you have to create other colors too is something that we may want to play with as well. So yeah, feel free to ask me any questions as you're working. If you need any other, if you need special advice about a certain kind of thing, but meanwhile, just have fun printing right now. Just do a couple sets of prints. Maybe set up with 4 sheets of paper, which is always really fun, 3 at least, and see what the variables are that you can make. And if you have styrofoam around, I really recommend doing that. I'm actually going to see if I can find some of the prints that my student did with the styrofoams to show you. I wasn't able to come up with them right away, but when we get back together again at around 1/4 of, I will show you some of those, because that is pretty interesting to see what she's done with the styrofoam.
But we can also use film core, right, to cut out our.
Yes, foam core is great. If you have foam core, it's a wonderful thing to use for the matrix because it's so easily cuttable. It makes you nice and clean, sharp edges.
So you
But
want to create a matrix right now, right?
yeah, I think it'd be fun to make everybody to make a little matrix, glue it with whatever glue you have around. I always like to suggest the acrylic medium, the heavy gel medium is really good because it will hold it very well. But Elmer's or, even tape will work if you just double the tape and put it on the back. But I assume everybody has some kind of glue. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And as you can see, you don't really need anything fancy in terms of materials for this. You can really make do without going to much expense. Just use things that you have lying around or that you find in your recycle bin. Sometimes they're the best, actually. if you do actually make one of those lines directly into the styrofoam, that would be considered a matrix as well, because it's something that is fixed in place, and it's not going to, you're not going to take it apart and lose it. So like this that I did on my styrofoam here, that's a matrix made of styrofoam. And you may really need to, ink this up quite a bit to get it to the place where you get what you want out of it. But that could be stamp printed or directly onto your piece of paper.
Adria,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've just been trying to collect materials, but how thick should the top layer be? I mean, I think I have a good little board, but what I'm cutting on is also cardboard, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Surprisingly, Kate, it doesn't have to be all that thick. If it's not that thick, you'll probably get like some of the board behind it, which could be really interesting as well. Like when you
I see.
roll it, it will, like this is so high. See,
Yeah.
that when I roll it, it kind of touches, the
Yeah.
top, but if it was less, you might get something. So yeah, either way, it's all good.
And have you ever made a matrix with like, I'm just looking, I collected some things when I was away this week, like the pine needles, like if you did something like this and
Yes.
that could be.
You know what you could do, and that's a whole other conversation, but if you use an acrylic product, it's a gel medium, you can actually press the pine leaves into the medium. And you might be able to make a permanent mold of them.
Oh,
Yeah, as long as they're attached to something that you can pull it out, like when it's done,
yeah.
you could probably do that. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Thank you. Sorry.
No,
I'm
no,
probably
it's
not
fine.
going to print today, so I'm experimenting.
Yeah. Okay, great. I'm just going to wash my hands off and see if I can find that styrofoam print.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any foam cord. Guess you could do 2 layers. Adria, I think you're mute. I can't hear you.
I am mute.
Oh,
Thank you,
okay.
Kate, you're right. I was like, I don't think anybody can hear me. Yeah.
Of course, I thought it was me, but then I tried all my tricks.
Yeah, yeah. So I was just saying that we have about 5 more minutes before we take a break today and wrap up. I did want to show you some images of somebody that was a student who uses matrices in their work, and also to see what you all have come up with. If you want to just take a quick photo and throw it up on Padlet or email it to me, that would be great. So another couple minutes. All right, let's come together again. And go ahead and unmute yourselves. I did mute everybody just to give you a little privacy while you were working. Great. All right, let's see if anybody threw anything up here to look at. So let me just see here where Padlet is. Here we go. Okay.
So I haven't finished mine.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Then maybe we just talk about whatever you have on your table and not worry about sharing it. We don't have to share. Yeah. So how is this matrix thing going, Sally? Did you? Yeah, you got something there you want to take a look at? Yeah, we'll just do it this way.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah, and you know you can pin each of us on to see if you're not sure about how to see someone in large, just pin somebody. Yeah, great, Sally. So did you want to show us your matrix? Was this from a set that you made?
I peeled off the non-round pieces on my matrix and just left the round ones on to do a
Okay.
set.
Great. So yeah, that's good. And now you have that. You can
Stuff
use it.
with sticky things on the back and you can just stick them on.
Oh, perfect. That's a great thing too. Yeah. So that's the stuff you can get at Playtime or the various art.
Michael's.
Yeah, it's got an adhesive on it and it's just a little bit raised. It's perfect thing to use for this exact purpose. Fabulous. Yeah, because it makes it really easy. No gluing involved. Great, Sally, perfect, good. Looks like you had, and got a nice ghost there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, all right. Anybody else want to show what you've been working on?
Wow.
Yeah, wow, nice colors there.
Katie,
Oh, yeah.
Katie, unmute yourself, and I'm gonna pin you. Yeah, or wait, that's Mary Ellen. Oh, is that Mary Ellen? Or who?
It was me.
Okay, yeah, great. Beautiful. Oh, and look at that rich color coverage you've got there.
It didn't come out that great. It's styrofoam pieces and it's kind of blah.
Oh, well,
And this is kind of a ghost of a ghost of a
yeah,
ghost.
you hold
with
it
all
away
kinds
and
of-
away. Yeah, it's too close to the camera. I think we can only see a small part of it. Yeah,
And that's got
well, it's very,
styrofoam.
yeah, the texture is very appealing, and it seems as though maybe the next step might be a stencil to
Yeah.
mask out some of it and leave some of it going. But really beautiful. What you get when you start to do these buildups of color and texture is like tweed, where all the colors kind of blend together and give us very soft, complex color from a distance. Nice, yeah. Good. So yeah.
A lot of ghosty things.
Yeah. Did you make a matrix, Mary Ellen?
I did, but then the pieces all came off.
Oh, did you not glue?
I glued them with matte medium.
Okay, it just didn't set enough. Yeah,
Yeah,
give it a
so
chance.
they're
You're
sitting under a book. Hopefully
Okay.
they'll work later.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's see. Katie's got one here.
I made a couple of I did this one
Oh
Right.
yeah.
out, and then the stuff that the leftovers, I also
Oh,
cut out and used the dropouts,
perfect.
did a circle and did this around it.
Exactly.
I did another one. I'll just show you a couple of things.
What did you use to glue it on?
I
Oh, I'm
used,
sorry.
I used this nori glue because I just have it, and you can pick it up and move it around afterwards, and it works really well with any of this stuff. And you can use your finger. It's kind of pasty. It really, I like it a lot.
Yeah. It's like
I could just scrape it. It's really quick. Wipe off anything that's left over. So a couple of just kind of
oh yeah. Great.
is this, and kind of interesting.
Oh yeah, that looks like tie-dye. How did you do that?
It is, it is. So what I did is I did a printing, and it had these, kind of stripes in it. And then I took my roller and I just rolled like in between the stripes, and it made these circly effects, and it was just kind of interesting. So it's just kind of playing around.
Great.
I
Great,
did
Katie.
kind of rushy, so
Yeah, no, it's
I'm getting the idea of some of the subtle effects. Mine are just because I use kind of bold colors, but the subtle effects I'm appreciating, the marks that are coming through and stuff. So
yes, great. Good, thank you. Anybody else want to share what you've been playing with here?
I'm just still working on
Okay,
my
that's
matrix. I just don't really have anything. It'd be
No
boring.
worries, yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm showing everybody who wants to just demonstrate a little bit of what they've been working on. Nobody
Yeah.
else?
I wanted to do a cutout of Walden because I think if I make it into a stamp, it'll be a lot more useful to me, and I can like play with it a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
exactly.
great, yeah,
That's a good idea. Perfect.
yeah, with your,
Yeah, and
Um,
I loved, Kate, I know you were talking about pine needles
yeah,
and stuff because I've been trying to pick them up every time I go.
yeah.
And they're great, especially when you get them fresh. But I have to keep going back because as they dry out, the individual pine needles fall off.
Yeah, and it gets messy.
Well,
Yeah.
You know,
I know
though,
it's fair.
I was cross-country skiing this weekend in the woods, and
Yeah.
the pine needles had fallen and separated on the snow. And so there were all these little lines and then little tiny pine cones in between. And I didn't get any of the little pine cones. I wasn't sure how they would print anyway, but I'm like that. I'm itching to try to get that look, at least for a start.
Yeah.
Of all those little lines on the white and then see what happens. But I haven't had a chance to play with that. I don't know if I'll be able to capture it. But
I mean, I think that honestly, the best thing for you to do with that, Kate, is to literally take them and make them, and put them right on your plate.
yeah, I know I'm not doing a matrix. with
Yeah, there's, yeah. I mean, that's the other thing is there
Yeah.
are times when matrices are really helpful. And other times when it's not gonna, it's sort of more work than you need to do yeah, exactly.
But like this idea Tammy has where she wants to repeat this
Repeat
image
reading.
and work
That's right.
with it. That's kind of brilliant.
That makes a lot of sense. Exactly. And stencils are good for that as well. All right, well, real quickly, everybody, I just wanted to show you, because I think this is interesting to see somebody who has actually used what we're talking about. I was saying she's here. Tatiana Fliss is somebody who took my class last year or a while ago, and up on her website now, she's actually got. So this is one of the pieces I was talking about, where you can see she's used the styrofoam in the back. This is a little bit easier to see it, but she's done a lot of pieces with that. And then I also wanted to show you actually on her Instagram feed. Yeah, this is actually a version of it. But this is exactly from a class that just like this. And here's the styrofoam that already had these holes cut out in it. You can see it's just like something you would get. But I wanted to show you too that this is a piece. She's done. This is a matrix, and I think this will show you how she did it. Well, she was showing. These were pieces that she showed that she did in my class. Oh, no, not that. But
Looks good. I'm really hungry.
I know. I'm just wondering.
What's her name? Can you give us her name again?
Tatiana Fliss.
Tatiana with the K?
Yeah, Tatiana, Tatiana Fliss, Fliss. And on her website, I was just going to show you, she's actually got some nice images of her doing this work.
Yeah, and everybody, I know that food looked delicious, but beware the chicken soup.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But this one is interesting because this is done with a matrix, and she did this in our class. She made this matrix in our class using cardboard and just little pieces of cardboard, I think is what she did. But she ended up, it really does look like a building, but simple, but these are all monotypes. These are all gel print. These are all gel prints. Yep. So anyway, it's fun to see,
Very cool.
examples where you actually, somebody has actually kind of taken it beyond just the experimental stage. So anyway, you can check that out. So, well, great, everybody. So I will send you videos on how to put your cover on to your little book, and also how to add a page. And I will think. And by the way, as we're coming up to the edge, is there anything that you all could suggest to me that you'd like to get a better handle of, or that you wish I would go into depth in that I haven't done yet? Just so I make sure that I cover the bases before we end up.
I will give that some thought. Thank you.
If you think of something, just send me an email, and I'm happy to. Meanwhile, I do have a thought about showing you how to, work with a painting using monoprinting. So working
Oh, I
bigger.
would love that.
Yeah, like really,
I've seen
like,
other people do it and I would really like that a lot.
yeah, so we could do that. And that's simply working on a larger sheet of paper, a really big piece of paper that you are using the plate and also different printmaking techniques on that would be kind of beyond the jelly plate. So we can do that.
That's exactly what I want, is I want like how to work larger using this.
Yeah, yeah, because it's a small plate and it's sometimes, you know, you kind of get this desire to kind of break out of that little thing, but there's many things you can do. All right, everyone. So good. I will send you emails and I will see you next time.
And
Thank you very much.
And
Thank you.
Adria, I had one question.
Yeah.
So a friend has gifted me a whole bunch of old like road maps.
Ah.
Oh,
So I'm interested to work with them, but I want to be careful about not covering up
Yeah.
all of the original
Mhm.
and all of that. So like, I don't know if you can think of that as one of your
Yeah,
suggestions or something like that.
that
'Cause
would be great. Actually, you know, another one would be to explore what happens when you print on other kinds of things like
yes.
music, sheets of music,
Yeah.
or, you know, like maps is a great one, but yeah, and I'll try to remind people to bring some of that stuff in for our next time, maybe.
Cool.
Okay,
Thank you.
everyone, have a great week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Adria.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Really
Bye.
appreciate it.
Sure.